Okay, we're going to be working on test corrections for the Unit 4 Part A test in this video. So what we want to do for Learning Target 1, be able to write ratios in different forms. So to write the two other forms, we could say 5 to 6, or we can also write it 5:6. Just being able to recognize that that's how we write ratios. Okay, moving into Learning Target 2. I can simplify rates, unit rates, and ratios. So when you have a ratio of 15 girls to 6 boys, you write it as a fraction. And then a unit rate is just having it simplified. So it simplifies down to a 3 goes into both of them. And we would have 5 is to 2. And you could even think about 5 being divided up by 2, and you could even say 2.5 to 1 on that one. All right, find the unit rate for problems 3, 4, and 5. So the unit rate, that means how many out of 1. So if you have 405 rotations in 5 minutes, we want to know how many rotations it would be in 1 minute. So in your calculator, you're going to divide 405 by 5, and that is going to equal 81 rotations per minute. So for 1 minute, that's a unit rate. So over here on the answer key, 81 rotations. I'm just going to abbreviate it per minute. Number 4 is looking at the table, and remember you want to do it for cost per box. Per box is 1. So these all reduce down, and we're going to get the same answer no matter which column we pick. So the cost of a box, $3.60 divided by 3 boxes, tells you that 1 box is going to be, when I divide it in a calculator, $1.20 per 1. And that's your answer, $1.20 per 1 box. And then when we get to number 5, we have 72 ounces are in 12 servings. Again, a unit rate is going to just divide 72 up by 12, and you are going to get 6 ounces in every 1 serving. So that's the unit rate just for 1. Sorry, I will hide that thing there so it doesn't block my answer there. So over here, I'm just going to write 6 ounces for every 1 serving. That's the unit rate. Okay, so learning target, I can simplify rates, unit rates, and ratios. Now we come down to learning target 3, and we have to decide if they are ratios form a proportion, and that means they are equal to one another. So we looked at a lot of strategies for that, but one of them is cross products. If the numbers are kind of big and I can't quite see how 8 and 5 are related to each other, and 24 and 15, then I'm going to do cross products. So 8 times 15 equals 24 times 5. If they do equal each other, then they are forming a proportion. So 8 times 5, it turns out, is 120 in the calculator, and 24 times 5 is also 120. So because the two cross products are equal, that does form a proportion. They are equal to one another. And then for this one, I'm going to write them as fractions. 25 cars come through in 5 days. Is that equal to 60 cars in 12 days? So 25 divided by 5 is 5, and 60 divided by 12 is 5. So just by simplifying those fractions, I can tell that they're equal to one another. So that also forms a proportion. So that's yes. You could certainly do the cross products and find out they were equal to each other. as well. We have different strategies, right, to figure this out. Okay, learning target 6. I can identify the unit rate as a constant of proportionality, so how it changes the same way, from a table, a graph, equation, or a diagram. So how is it changing here as I go from minutes? It looks like it's going up by 2s, and this looks like it's going up by 16s. So in my answer, I'm getting 16 pictures in 2 minutes, or 8 per 1 minute. So that's my unit rate. So I have 8 pictures are coming by, maybe on a video or something, every 1 minute. And then when I go up on this graph and I look at the cost per pound, I just see 1 pound, 2 pounds, 3 pounds, 4 pounds, and here's the cost. So it looks like 1 pound is $4. So I'll just, 1 pound is $4 on the y-axis. 2 pounds is $8. 2 pounds is $8. So you can kind of see they're changing. Every pound is $4. So the unit rate, 1 pound, is going to be $4 per pound. And that's your cost, $4 per pound, 8 pictures per minute. And that's how we read it from a table and a graph. All right, and then I'm just going to switch over to the back, and we have 2 more learning targets. 8 comes first. That one is the many colors. So the yellow is first. You're going to solve for X first. We learned a number of ways to do that too from Mrs. Harrell. So we could say 9 times 9 is 81. 8 times 9, X would be 72 to make that proportional. So X is 72. You could definitely use the fish method. You could use the cross products method, and you could find different ways to solve that. You could divide by 9 to see, and then something divided by 8 is 72. You could think that way too. All right, moving on to the orange. In an animal shelter, the ratio of dogs to cats is 5 to 3. There are 25 dogs. So we have to write a proportion to figure out how many cats would be proportional. So 5 dogs for every 3 cats, so there's more dogs than cats, is equal to 25 dogs. How many cats? Again, you could do cross products and divide. You could do the fish, cross, divide, right? 25 times 3 divided by 5. Or you could see 5 times 5 is 25, 3 times 5. So X is going to be 15. And you're going to write and solve. So first write 5 dogs to every 3 cats is equal to 25 dogs. And we're trying to figure out how many cats that would be in a proportion. So the X ends up being 15 cats, makes that proportional. Okay, a recipe calls for 3/4 a cup of sugar and a 1/2 cup of brown sugar. You are reducing the recipe. You will use 1/6 of a cup of brown sugar. How much sugar will you use? Write and solve a proportion. So we're doing this the same way, but it's going to look a little crazy because we're going to write the proportion 3/4 cups of sugar is over proportional to 1/2 cup brown sugar. We're going to reduce it a little bit. We're going to reduce it to, we don't know how much white sugar, but we're only going to have 1/6 of a cup of brown sugar. We have to find out how many cups of white sugar that would be. So when we solve this, we are going to have to probably do cross products, right? Or think about the fish. it's going to be 1/6 times 3/4. And let's do that process first. So 1 times 3 is 3. 6 times 4 is 24. And we have to divide by half. So we're going to divide by half. But what happens when we divide fractions by a half? We really flip and multiply. So 3/24 times 2/1. So I can cross reduce these, 1 and 12. So 3 times 1 is 3. 12 times 1 is 12. And if I reduce that down, I'm going to have it equal to 1/4. Lots of work in that fraction. 1/4 of a cup of white sugar to make that a proportion. All right. And then finally here, this is a purple one. If you're going to solve for x, you are going to make cross products equal to each other. So 7 times 8 equals 5 times x minus 2. There's a little distributive property, remember that? So 56 equals 5x minus 10. Now we have a two-step equation to solve. So we're going to add first to both sides, and we're going to get 66 equals 5x. And then when we divide by 5, our answer is going to be x equals, do it in the calculator, we're going to have 13.2. So x is going to be 13.2. Okay, and then finally, this last one is a purple. It's a conversion, like we did when we did our measurement. And yeah, you guys can stop the video if you're not doing the purple for honors. And this one, if 1 mile is 1.6 kilometers, and I run a 15K race, how many miles did I run? So you're just going to say 1 mile is to 1.6 kilometers as x miles is to 15 kilometers. And in the end, you just end up dividing 15 by 1.6 to get it converted. So when you divide, you're going to have it be 9.4 miles. And this last one, we have 2 steps we're going to do. So we're going to have 120.7 kilometers happening in an hour. And we're going to have to multiply that by 1 mile is equivalent to 1.6 kilometers in a mile. Whoops. Sorry, that's on some tape there. 1.6 kilometers in a mile. And we're going to also multiply that by 1 hour is equivalent to 60 minutes. So in the end, we're going to take 120.7 divided by 1.6 times 60. And we are going to get 2 things converted there. We've changed it into miles and we've changed it into minutes. So lots of stuff going on there. Okay, those are the answers to the test corrections. Please write them on your test and then rewrite them on the test correction sheet for the learning targets that you need to focus on. And then upload a picture for me, and that will give you proficiency of 3. And if you want a 4, just retake the test. Okay, thanks so much. Good job.